Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you clicked on today's video because in today's video I'm going to be reading the first half of the ACOTAR series. I have no idea what to expect. However, we do meet Feyre and her sisters and her father in the first book. We find out what happens to her family and why she became a huntress at such a young age. We find out what happens that leads her to Prythian under the reign of Tamlin and Lucien, and it's kind of like what I've heard as well, like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And if you guys don't know, Belle is my favorite Disney character. She's my favorite Disney princess, and Beauty and the Beast is my all-time favorite Disney movie. So, all that I have to say right now about ACOTAR, about the series in general, about the characters, the storyline. I in fact have no idea what's gonna happen in the rest of these books. I just know certain things that happen in each book thanks to spoilers and Instagram and TikTok and all that fun stuff. But yes, I'm not going to spoil anything else for myself moving forward because I do want to enjoy this book as best as I can. I want to make sure that I'm fully immersed in the world, that everything is like genuine reaction, genuine like concern, genuine appreciation for what is the ACOTAR series as a whole and its characters. So with that being said, you guys, I hope that you really enjoy this video because I have a feeling I'm really gonna enjoy reading these books, even though it's kind of like my first big fantasy read, which I'm nervous about, but I'm enjoying so far. Guys, I am so sorry. I know it's been a hot minute since I've updated you guys at all on my ACOTAR reading journey, and I apologize for that. And I started reading ACOTAR, the first book of ACOTAR, probably around end of September, beginning of October. That was kind of when I started. Today, January 24, 2024, I have officially completed the first book in the series. Yay, 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 yay. If you guys are gonna stop watching here, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. I am so happy that you watched up until this point. If you ever read ACOTAR and you want to come back just to hear my opinions and my thoughts about what I thought about the first book in this series, you can continue on from here. It is the spoiler section of the video, and I really debated whether I wanted to do a spoiler section or not. However, after reading this book, I want to say that I didn't think that I was going to be as thoroughly invested in this story as much as I was. First few things that I want to talk about ACOTAR. Also, I did not annotate this book at all, and I kind of regret not annotating it because this book, reading it was like just a hot mess. Like I was reading on my Kindle, I was listening to audiobook, majority of it was audiobook, and then I read some chapters like here and there sporadically. Unfortunately, no annotating in this book, but hopefully I get to do it for all the other books that I read. In terms of like my thoughts of this book, I enjoyed the book. I gave it a 4 stars, and the reason why I gave it a 4 stars was because I'm not a fantasy girly. Like I am just now getting into fantasy, and ACOTAR gave me like a taste of that fantasy. However, there was so much going on in this book that I'm so sorry if you hear my washing machine in the background. Please try to ignore it as much as possible. So starting off, right off the bat, this book went straight for the kill. Quite literally, we see Feyre killing a high fae in the form of a wolf. And this sends her straight into fairyland. I don't know, I forget what it's called, Prythian probably. We meet Tamlin, we meet Lucien, and we also meet some other characters along the way. We get to kind of like get to know Tamlin a little more. He's like the High Lord of the Spring Court, if I'm not mistaken. And anyway, the whole point is that the whole politics part of it, I was kind of just like, just kind of like taking it all in, because I know that eventually once I read the other books, like they will be kind of like more fleshed out, if that makes sense. I just know it because the size of those books, I'm scared. I'm truly scared. First things first, I kind of loved the romance. not loved, I'm lying, I enjoyed that there was like a little bit of romance between Tam Tam and Feyre. I call him Tam Tam, but his actual name is Tamlin. Really enjoyed their romance. I did not expect them to have a romance. I literally thought that he was just gonna be like a beast in all the forms of the word, and she was just gonna like hate him the entire time. However, there was a romance that bloomed out of their relationship, but while she was staying at Prithian in his castle and all of that fun stuff. And we get to see like the different sides of Feyre. We get to see her thoughts. We get to see like how her feelings develop for Tam Tam. And then we also get to see some softer sides of Tam Tam, which was really nice, because this is what makes Sarah J Maas, I feel like, a really good author. Is the fact that she can make her characters so relatable and so 3D, like so dimensional, that it's almost impossible to like hate a villain, if that makes sense. And that leads me to my next point, which is Rhys and Amarantha. Amarantha's story was insane from beginning to end, with like her sister falling in love with like a human man, kind of like betraying her, breaking her heart, and I don't know, I honestly forgot the story. Either way, Amarantha's rude, she's mean, she's evil, she's vile. She does not care who's standing in her way. She's gonna get rid of them. She's gonna do whatever it takes to leave people with a bad taste in their mouth. Initial reaction is that when you hear the name Amarantha, you want to like throw up in your mouth, just because she's literally like she's not likable. And Sarah J Maas did very well in her character development as a reader, for us to not like her. So Amarantha ends up dying in the end, which, you know what, she will or will not be missed. I don't really know. I'm very indifferent to her character. I just thought that there was certain things that she did that I was like she's so annoying, kind of. But anyway, that was that. Reese's Pieces, that man is so strange to me. Like, if I were to choose between Tam Tam and Rhys, I would probably choose Tam Tam at this point in the story. So I'm kind of like in line with Feyre, because like I do feel bad for Rhys, but at the same time, like, dude, you're choosing to do these things. So in a way, like, I don't know, it just doesn't, I don't know, Rhys kind of gave me like an odd kind of vibe. Like, I just wasn't feeling him too much. Like, there was things that he would say that really cracked me up. Like, there was this one line where he was like, where he said, I'll have to ask Tamlin if this kind of flattery won his heart. So just like little like dumb side comments like that, and like jabs at Feyre. Like, he gets like these little quips that he has with her, because now he's like in control of her basically, and so whatever she's like thinking, he can like get in her mind and like kind of not, I don't know if he can like alter her thoughts, but he can like get inside her mind. He can feel what she's feeling, and vice versa, like she can feel what he's feeling. So they have like this bond, this connection, this invisible string tying, you know, them to each other. So I guess like in the ways of like how the storyline is gonna go, like whatever one person feels, the other person's gonna feel. So it's gonna get really interesting moving forward, especially like once you get to the end of this book, because there's like this huge trial thing that goes on while connected to recent, and then at the same time while Amarantha's like trying to get her, trying to kill her, but she kind of gets away with it. And yeah, it's like this whole thing with the trials, right? And so basically what happens is that at the end of the trials, there's like this huge battle that breaks out, and that is when Amarantha is basically killed, right? But Feyre also dies. And the craziest part is that I feel like as I was listening to this, because I listened to the whole like last part of this book, as I was listening to this, I'm like, is she having an out-of-body experience? Because she was like seeing things, but I don't know, like she saw herself dying pretty much, and like she saw what was going on, but like from like an out-of-body kind of thing. So I was like, okay, she's having an out-of-body experience, she's dead, she's a ghost. No, she blacks out, and then the next chapter she wakes up as a fairy. The way I literally couldn't breathe, because that was the last thing that I was expecting to happen in this book. Out of all the things that could have happened to Feyre in this book, the last thing that I thought of was her becoming a fairy. Guys, the way this sent me to my core, I was like, oh, so now is when it gets real. Now is when I tell you guys that I was not ready for this ending. Like, even now I'm thinking about it. So you know what? I think this is what I'm gonna do. I think that I am going to sit with this book. I'm going to reread like the last 2 chapters probably. I'm gonna really like dissect what happened. I'm gonna think thoroughly about this before I get into the next book, because the way that I was just taken aback from the ending, like, I really want to get into the next book now, which is good, because now I'm like, oh, you know, like, I'm into it. Like, I want to know what happens. Like, I'm invested now. Like, I want to see what happens. However, I can't just jump right in. I need palate cleansers. So, end the story with Feyre and Tam Tam still together. Like, everybody's celebrating because Amarantha's dead and the curse that she put on Prythian is gone. So we have like all the High Lords kind of like getting along with each other. Everybody's celebrating. The fairies are running around. Like, it's such a lively, like, jubilant vibe to the end of the story. And then we see, if I'm not mistaken, Rhysand comes in the middle of the night to kind of like say goodbye to her, and they have like this whole like heart-to-heart about what it's like to be a High Fae now, about how he felt while he was trapped under the mountain with Amarantha, and that now he's free and he gets to fly. He's going back to the Night Court, and he basically says like, I'll see you again, which we all know what that means because I've already spoiled a lot of things for myself, unfortunately. So I kind of already know that there's a specific chapter in the next book where there's a scene of some sort, and you know, they see each other again. So we already know, okay, we already know. But she does end up with Tamlin. All this celebrating, and Rhysand's kind of like departing from Feyre and Tamlin and all the celebration. He kind of goes his own way, and he says goodbye to Feyre specifically, but she is still kind of like under his spell in a way, where like she has to go see him or like be his slave every like week of the month. So we're gonna be seeing a lot more interactions between them, which is exciting. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I think that this book ended on a great note, and by great note I mean a very interesting note, because we are going to get a lot of action, a lot of tea, a lot of romance, I'm sure of it, a lot of like drama. So I am absolutely here for it. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I wish I had read it like physically and had done more underlining and like annotating on it, but there are 4 other books in this series, so I will likely get started on annotating like those other books, and then I'll probably revisit this one and reread it and annotate it. With that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Please leave down below what your thoughts, reactions, comments, opinions were about ACOTAR, the first book in the series. I really want to know what you guys think. I really want to know what you guys rated it. If there's anything that stood out to you, anything that you're looking forward to reading in the next few books. And yeah, that's all I can really say for right now, but I will be back with a part 2 for the ACOMAF part of the series, so the second book in the ACOTAR series. I really hope that you guys have a great night and happy reading. Bye!